Looks like we are live, and then we'll give a moment. I'm going to tweet out that we're live now.
Oh, God.
Okay, while we're waiting, was Ultra League better, worse, or about what you expected?
I mean, it's fun. It's kind of boring to see Giratina and Registeel in every game. Literally like every game. But I mean, it is fun to play.
I think it's pretty fun, and it's not going to be a ton different. I'm excited to not see too much Registeel anymore.
Replace Registeel with Dialga, and you'll see the same thing.
Basically, or metal.
Dialga Giratina will be in every game. But I mean, at least Origin has some more play in Ultra than it did in Master than it did in Ultra, which is nice.
Yeah. Especially if we see a lot of meta growth.
Yeah. I think that's the main reason you're going to want Snorlax, because you're going to need it for Origin. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot that walls it.
Yeah, I think Articuno is going to be a really good lead again.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So get prepared for more Icy Wind drops.
Yeah.
At least it's predictable. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's true.
And Peggy, how did you find Ultra?
I really liked it. I like Ultra a lot, like outside of this, so I was really excited to see what I would actually see. And I was scared to see if people were mad about it, because I was bracing myself for everyone being like, we want more Great League. But I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a neat mix of legendaries and non-legendaries. I love Altered, so I would love getting to play with that a lot. And Cresselia is a lot of fun too. So
yeah, I think there's definitely what I was really happy with. There was like a lot more interesting picks that came, a little bit more variety than I initially thought they were going to be. I just finished watching Caleb's video on Zangoose. Pretty interesting Pokemon. Certainly gives a lot
Zangoose
of
like if it hits the Night Slash and gets the attack increase, then it can hit Snorlax for something like 220 damage with the close combat after.
Wow.
Just disgusting. Like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah, I definitely lost some Ultra League draft battles because of that. It's just not on the bait right. Ugh.
I realized I didn't change the title of the stream. Okay.
I like TCO's team too, King.
Yeah. I honestly can't believe that won as many matches as it did, especially against some of the.
Did he lead with one of the Charmers?
He led with Clefable and then had Togekiss in the back.
In my mind, I was thinking you lead with Charizard and then use one of the fairies to beat out the Registeel.
As a swap, yeah, that's what I thought.
Swap in Togekiss, burn a shield on the flamethrower, and then farm with Charizard and clean up with Clefable at the end. That was how I ran it in my head. Because otherwise, if you lose the lead, what did he do? Like, what did he do against the Registeel lead?
He just stayed in.
Oh, really?
He just stayed in. The Flash Cannon doesn't one shot like Clefable, and then you can't farm it down because it takes after the Flash Cannon you still have to do 33 more lock-ons.
Oh wow!
So you'd be at risk of getting hit by another Meteor Mash. So everyone recognized that and did another Flash Cannon. They just came in with Charizard, and then I think they just auto switched to Giratina a lot of time because they're like, oh, there are no more Charmers. Then boom, switch in Togekiss. Then
That's kind of
yeah, Charizard is definitely the right pick because it resists both of them. But
for sure,
but it's a pretty. I liked it. So
with the double charm team, you need a hard wall, Reggie.
Yeah.
Which Charizard does.
Okay, and then I also see the EDM gamer. Okay, EDM gamer. Okay, yeah, the EDM gamer, the one that created this graphic. So thanks for tuning in, and as well thanks for graphic. A lot of people complimenting Alex's haircut.
No one notices when I get a haircut. Jesus.
Yeah. It's because Toshi, your radiant smile always like outshines your haircut.
That must be it. Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Anyway, so thank you everyone that's joined this Master League discussion. As we know, Master League is probably gonna be starting Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time for myself. And as we know, like just like the change from Great to Ultra, things change pretty dramatically between those metas. There's certainly going to be other Pokemon that are going to be highlighted, and some of these are highlighted on the graphic. Some of them we're going to be talking in a little bit, but I think it's important to have this discussion so people can be as prepared as possible for Master League. As you know, there's limited budget picks, so you have to bring these Pokemon to level 40. They have to be good IVs, so you want to make sure you have the right investments. So that's why we're having this discussion. I'm gonna have each person introduce themselves. Tell them if they don't already know you, tell them your name, or your in-game name, and then what is one Master League Pokemon you would choose to have in real life. Right? And then as well, not only do they have to like live with you, but you have to bring it to every battle in Master League.
Okay.
Right? So you have to take consideration, the viability of it and the real world viability in it and how useful it is in Go Battle League. So
yeah.
So why don't we start with for the battles?
Hello. Hi. I'm for the battles, Kimberly, and I live alone as a female, so I would like Rhyperior because nobody's gonna jump me with Rhyperior. So, and honestly, it's just I like the versatility of it in Masters. So Rhyperior.
Okay, Rhyperior is a good choice. Hopefully you live in a large place because I'm sure it'll be take up a ton of space. I guess like a lot of these. Okay, when we move on to Alex.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I kind of like. I guess I would go with Mew just because like it's so diverse. It can do whatever it wants. Like you can put any move on it. You can change it up between battles so that you don't get too predictable. It's small. It's cozy. It's cute. Yeah, it's like one of the best Pokemon. It's a mythical, like.
Oh man, its moveset would be so amazing to live with in real life, right? Power goes out, overheat, right? Right? You need to jump your car, volt switch, right?
God.
So good. That's actually really I think that's a really good answer. Alex, you always come up with the best picks, so that's
wait,
a good one.
We didn't hear Alex's IGN. No.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Hey, I'm Toshi. I'd probably who would I live with? Well, Swampert, I think. Swampert's one of my favorite Pokemon. Just it always was. My favorite Pokemon is Mudkip, and so I just love the line. And if I have Swampert, do I also get a Mudkip? Can I have both of them? That'd be great.
I think you only get one. You only get one.
Okay.
You only get one.
Then I guess Swampert. Mudkip is not as viable in Master League.
Yeah, definitely not.
And not as viable, but yeah, I know Swampert. He's so good in all three leagues. Hydro Cannon just wrecks a lot, even in Master. It's one of the lower peaking Master League options. It peaks out under 3,000, but it does so much damage with Hydro Cannon and Earthquake that it's still viable, and I like it a lot. So
yeah, and it's arguably the most versatile Pokemon cross leagues.
Like and it's also definitely, and it's also probably one of the cheaper ones. I think most people already have one and only a 10K second move. So you probably have a lucky from Community Day. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like okay, perfect. And last but not least, Peggy, you wanna tell them about yourself and tell them what Pokemon.
So I'm Peggy. My in-game name is Peggy Snail, and I would totally choose Giratina Origin. I don't know if I could fit it in my place, but I could probably like ride it around places. I don't drive, so that would be nice.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and I just love doing things with Shadow Ball, and I think it's also my most used Pokemon in 1v1 raids. So.
Oh, because it has a lot of versatility for your gameplay.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's amazing. Okay, great. We have this meta document as provided by GoHub, so shout out to them for providing to us. In terms of this diagram, it covers the high level Masters meta, so I'm going to walk through it. So the king of the meta, the dominant Pokemon in the meta is Dialga, and we'll talk a little bit about why it's so dominant. But also really great in this to some of its checks, or one of the Pokemon that it goes back and forth with is Togekiss, which is the dominant charmer, and we'll talk about whether or not there's any other charmers that are also viable. Togekiss is really great because it's so bulky, has charm, which allows it to take care of the Giratinas. The Giratinas are also really good because of their ghost and dragon typing, the access to Shadow Claw, access to so many great moves. And then in order to check the Giratinas, obviously Togekiss, Dialga, Garchomp also has a pretty interesting matchup with the Giratinas. And then as well, Swampert is again, as Toshi pointed out, a really dominant Pokemon in this meta because of Hydro Cannon being so amazing. Having Mud Shot and that Earthquake allows it to have its place. And without Earthquake, I think with Earthquake is the reason why it's so prevalent, because it's able to take out, has a chance to take out one of the dominant Pokemon in the meta. And then Swampert also beats a lot of the Anti-Fairies, which we'll talk about in that category in the bottom right hand corner. So why don't we start off with what's missing in this diagram? What else would you include or you think is missing from this diagram that you think will be really good in Masters?
First of all, I think Mewtwo is going to be really good, especially with its varied move pool. There are probably three movesets on Mewtwo that you can three moves on Mewtwo that you can run, depending on what you're worried about. Side Strike, Shadow Ball, and Focus Blast. And with Psycho Cut getting to them all really fast, it's going to be one of the better generalists. There's not really a whole lot that's going to wall Mewtwo. It can hit almost anything with one of its nukes, which is really nice.
Perfect. No, I think that's a very strong pick. Insane attack stat, right? It's like the prototypical. Before PvP came out, you're like, oh, I'm going to use Mewtwo because it's so strong and so dominant. What else? What are some other picks that are potentially missing?
I think sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say Snorlax just because it walls Giratina.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, and we saw how good Snorlax was as a generalist in Ultra League. Snorlax has incredible bulk, has an incredibly wide move pool, and we actually let's talk a little bit about Snorlax. So obviously you want Lick, Body Slam is probably mandatory, but you can have some interesting movesets. So it has Earthquake, Outrage, Superpower, Heavy Slam. I'm sure it has a number of other moves. What moveset would you recommend?
I would do Body Slam Earthquake. I think it has good coverage.
Yeah, it allows you to hit Earthquake against Dialga, just like you would against Registeel. And then Earthquake allows you to also be able to take out a lot of the Anti-Fairies listed. Any other case for the other movesets?
I kind of like Outrage for all the dragons.
Yeah. It gives you a stronger Giratina matchup too, although you win that either way, I think.
Yeah, it allows you to hit neutral against. It allows you to hit super effective against Giratinas, then neutral to Dialga, and then as well, so many people are might be expecting Earthquake from Snorlax, and then landing that Outrage could be a pretty big surprise for it.
The only problem there is that you're walled by the Steel type, so you don't have a whole lot to hit Melmetal or Metagross. I mean, Metagross at least you're hitting with Lick, but there's no real charge move that's going to hit Melmetal or Heatran with Body Slam and Outrage.
Any case for no Body Slam?
I think it's viable. I honestly do. Like, what do you lose with that without Body Slam? Maybe like Swampert.
Yeah, Swampert, and maybe like some of the matchups that are not listed here.
A lot of bait dependent matchups, I'd imagine.
Maybe like if you go with, let's say, Outrage, Earthquake, then you're kind of walled by Togekiss.
Yeah.
You already lose to Togekiss with Body Slam, but it's pretty close. so you just lose harder.
Is there any play to superpower Earthquake?
Definitely lose the Togekiss, but
Togekiss would love that moveset.
But I guess it's a less bait dependent play against Dialga would be
or superpower Outrage, honestly, would be fun too. Superpower, fast.
I guess it depends if their shield's up or not, and how you're using your Snorlax. Like, I think with Earthquake, you definitely want shields down because it hits so much of the meta.
Yeah.
And with shields up, you definitely want Body Slam.
Yes.
Other than that, I think you can like play around with the moveset as much as you want.
Yeah, mostly. So I think there's a lot of really great movesets there. Okay, great. Any other Pokemon that you think are missing?
A way to like take out Swampert, it kind of depends on how other people are going to be playing, and if we see just Swampert in every trio, there's going to be, I mean, I don't know if there's a ton of case for Venus, but if we see a trio that's going in that's got like Togekiss and Swampert on every trio, I think that we might be seeing a little bit of a case for Venusaur. And then another one is Lugia. Lugia as the anti-Swampert here is a possibility as well.
I think just like in Ultra, people were very afraid to run grass initially, or at least like the preliminary assessment. It was left off a lot of meta diagrams because of the steel and dragons.
Right.
But I think Venusaur, like I do think that Swampert or Togekiss, Giratina, Dialga, one of those two, but Swampert Togekiss is going to be a very common set because they're not legendary. As well, their second move is very cheap. So just like we saw in Ultra, I think those are going to be viable picks, and Venusaur is going to be able to take out two of the three, and have very positive matchups. And as long as it's not Dialga, it will have at least be able to apply a lot of pressure onto Giratina, even if it ultimately loses.
For Master League would actually be Virizion, because you can hit those leaf blades so quick, and then you also have access to close combat for Dialga.
Which I think the main problem with Venusaur. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
Oh, the fast move. You're probably going to say the same thing.
No. I mean, quick attack is not great, but you still get to leaf blade really fast. You can double. You're not worried about it at all. And I was gonna say that what King said earlier. The main problem with Venusaur is just it loses so hard to the three best Pokemon in the meta. Dialga and Giratinas. Similarly to how an Ultimate lost so hard to Reggie and Giratina. But if those don't see as much play as Swampert does, I could see some play for it. I could also see some play for Torterra.
Torterra, okay, all right. Tell me about Torterra.
It does beat Swampert, obviously, and with Stone Edge and Earthquake as viable options, it's not hard walled by Dialga and Giratina. Obviously, it's going to lose those. It'll take 20 million years to get to Earthquake with Razor Leaf, but at least if there's some play, like it can't be farmed. Venusaur has nothing to hit Giratina, nothing at all. Sludge Waves resist, everything's resisted. So I think Torterra, if your main goal is you wanting a grass to beat Swampert and you don't want it to be hard walled by the dragons, I think it has to play. Especially if you get a Swampert locked in, can farm it down with Razor Leaf and then throw the Earthquake at a Dialga. It'll be fun.
Ooh, that would be very spicy.
That's very spicy.
It's not that spicy, honestly. It's higher rank than PvP Poke than Venusaur is.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that Razor Leaf pressure always does quite a bit, and it also like would put Melmetal in a pretty tricky situation because Melmetal would, if it wants to hit it with neutral damage, it will have to go for the superpower. Which obviously would lower it. It's an interesting. That's a very interesting Pokemon. Okay, all right. That's totally what I expect from you, Toshi. That's good. Okay, let's talk about Lugia. Lugia is also not on this diagram, and there's some good reasons why it's not on this diagram. It loses to Origin. With Dragon Tail, it loses to Togekiss and loses to Dialga. But what kind of play, and it loses a lot to the Anti-Fairies. So there's certainly a lot of Pokemon that beat it, but what are some of the cases for Lugia?
It's just so bulky, and I think that works really well in like a draft setting. I don't know if it works so well in like a blind 3 setting, but it does beat things like Snorlax, Dragonite, and Swampert. So I could see a situation where someone just happens to run that lineup, not realizing that Lugia is just gonna like go through it. But I don't know. There's so many ghosts around.
The thing about Lugia, like Peggy said, it's just so bulky, and Sky Attack is so good. It's kind of like the Swampert thing, where Hydro Cannon is so good that it just makes it viable in situations where it wouldn't otherwise be. Sky Attack is so good, and Lugia's got so much bulk, it can just out neutral a lot.
I feel like it's a Cresselia here.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's almost like a Cresselia option here. Like it's like a shield. It's not gonna have any play against like a lot of things, but like it's got Hydro Pump. It's you can't farm Lugia. I guess you can.
No, I agree. I don't think you can farm. I think it's very difficult to farm Lugia just because of how bulky it is. And I think that Cresselia analogy is very good. Even if it hits like, even if it gets like does resisted damage, just because of how bulky it is, how good Sky Attack is, just like that relentless pressure is going to force your opponent to throw a charge move. And then as well, we've seen in Ultra, and we're going to see it in Masters. The switch clock is going to play a huge part in this. So Lugia being around, like you could put it in, and it could survive a bad matchup, and then come back again later on
also,
for a sack or Sky Attack later.
It's also really hard to wall because even resisted Hydro Pumps do a lot, so you can't really like you see, you can't really farm it down because you gotta watch out for that Hydro Pump.
Okay, yeah.
Lugia actually only needs a 1 Dragon Tail lead to beat Giratina Altered also. So if you use it as a switch, someone thinks switch into Giratina and take it down. I was just looking at it last night, so it's very fresh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I do think like Giratina Altered. We're gonna talk about the Giratina matchups, but that's certainly one matchup that Giratina Altered struggles against Lugia because of that Dragon Tail damage, that's bulkiness, and how good Sky Attack is. And then as well beats Swampert, beats like a lot of the other generalists that you might not see on this diagram. Beats Venusaur, right? So if you get paired up with For the Battles, then you're gonna be able to use that Lugia to take out her Venusaur. So okay, and then some other ones I noted, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later. Fighters, so Machamp, Conkeldurr, or Conkeldurr, Lucario, any of those have any play, or do you think Swampert is the dominant anti-Dialga pick?
Yeah, I mean, fighters are so good because Dialga is the best Pokemon in the meta, and it's rare. It hits them with such hard, fast move damage. It's not really as shield dependent as Swampert is, or bait dependent, or bait and shield. But it's just so much in the meta that beats fighting. Togekiss is going to be so prevalent. The Giratinas are so prevalent, and it's really hard for Machamp to see any play against them. It's going to be something that you run if you really have a bad Dialga matchup. But I don't know. I think there's a lot that can be Dialga that's a little bit more flexible, like Swampert, like even Garchomp.
Lucario will have some play.
Lucario, in my opinion, is the better one just because it resists Dragon Breath, which is nice. And Shadow Ball Nuke.
New option, yeah. And then just a high attack stat. I hate Pup as a move, but like if you're gonna have Pup on something, Lucario would be who I would have it on, or you can go the other option.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't run close combat if I ran Lucario.
Yeah,
I just feel like Lucario is too frail.
Yeah.
Especially in Masters.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think another, if for example, Swampert, Dialga are super popular, I think an interesting pick, as pointed out in the chat, is Heracross. We saw how Heracross is a pretty good matchup in Ultra League against Swampert Regis. It obviously gonna get walled by Giratina or by Togekiss, so I think you have to play it by ear on how the meta is gonna evolve. Because I think early meta, I can't see like a lot of like Dialga or like Dialga and Giratina just because it's gonna be so expensive. I think it'll take some time for people to figure out which one they ultimately prefer and which one they ultimately want to invest in.
Right.
Okay, and then some other ones that I noted down. Dragonite. Dragonite is going to be at least I think a lot of people that have played the game a long time have like a very high level or maxed out Dragonite. What are your thoughts on Dragonite? Does it have much play considering that there's already the best Pokemon in the meta is already a Dragon Breath user?
I think it does play. Like if it beats the Giratinas, I believe, unless you run like altered with Dragon Breath. It beats like Swampert and Garchomp. It has some play. Like if you have it as a closer, and you're able to get to like Draco Meteor, is just so devastating. Like it just hits so hard. Anything that's not resisted, like Togekiss, obviously would eat it up. But like anything else, man, like you need to have like 50% of your health, or else Draco Meteor is just gonna demolish your whole like team.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sometimes I play around with Hurricane just to piss off fighters, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't get it very often.
Yeah, Hurricane would be a spicy move. So I think there's definitely some play. Dragon Claw, especially after those movesets became on Legacy, definitely some play, but it just doesn't. Obviously, if people are designing their team to counter Dialga, and instead of running into Dialga, they run into a Dragonite, then you're obviously in a great situation. But Dialga's matchup with Togekiss being so like neutral is one of the reasons why it's so great.
It's a real shame that it doesn't have superpower, because it would be amazing if it did.
Oh yeah, if it had superpower, it'd be way more. Yeah, that would be crazy.
That's what I voted for.
Wow.
That was an option.
What happened? But we got Rock Record, which is pretty decent. Yeah, let's talk about Rhyperior. So what's Rhyperior is? What does it look like where does it go in this meta diagram?
It's fun. It's really fun to use. Mudslap makes it incredible now. I don't know if you've ever Rock Record and Mewtwo, but it's kind of insane. Like it's actually really good now.
Only problem is Mudslap is still so slow that you're gonna need. It's probably better with shields down, just because I feel like you're never gonna get to 2 Rock Records. Well, maybe you would, but
so. But yeah, I would definitely check it out, just because ground, especially if we're going to be seeing Dialga a lot, which we are. I guess you could go for Smackdown for the Togekiss, but I would think Mudslap would be preferred here.
Oh yeah, agreed.
But yeah, it's going to like wreck all the Anti-Fairies. I mean, as far as I know, it's going to need some shields, but
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, when we move on to the meta diagram. Let's start off with Dialga. Like we already touched on some of these points, but what are some additional points on why Dialga is so dominant in this meta?
It has the best typing in the game. First of all, insane bulk, insane moveset, like Dragon Breath, Iron Head, can hit everything. I don't know. Should we keep going?
Yeah, I think one thing that really surprises me about Dialga is like think about Machamp. Machamp is a counter to Dialga, but if Machamp doesn't shield the Iron Head, then you're gonna get Dragon Breath down.
It doesn't even do that well, right? It's so sad.
It's so crazy. Like it's like one of those situations like you have to go into the one shield matchup against Dialga if you're a Machamp. There's no other play. Like you can't counter down as well. You have to expend energy. It's just and obviously like you think Togekiss would have a decent matchup, but Togekiss Dialga is very back and forth.
Yeah, we've known since Altaria how good Dragon Breath is with bulk. It's just such an impressive fast move, and when you can take charge moves, and the typing just makes it even better. You can do so much with just Dragon Breath with a bulky Pokemon, and very few weaknesses. It's very, very good.
Yeah, it's a Dragon Breath user that's not weak to dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just dealing stab, It gets 3 good charge moves, so you can basically choose your pick. You definitely need Iron Head. That's like the main thing for Togekiss, that matchup. But then you can run again Draco Meteor, which is like the most devastating, hard hitting move in the game, or Thunder for really good coverage against like Togekiss flyers like Lugia or even like Kyogre, things like that.
Yeah. So, what moveset do you prefer, Thunder or Draco Meteor, or what are the trade offs?
Personally, I like Draco Meteor. I like the nuke. Um, that's just me though. Because if I'm using Dialga, I would use it as a closer, probably, because it if you give it a shield in the close, it's kind of like Kingdra or things like that, where like it just has such hard hitting moves that when they don't have any shields, you win that matchup more than likely.
I'm trying to think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
I feel like what I would want Thunder for is the same things I would want Iron Head for, so I wouldn't necessarily want both of them.
Yeah, I think Thunder, at least when I ran some sims, at least gives you a little bit better of a matchup against Metagross, because you're gonna be able to at least hit neutral against it. It's a little bit. I think is it a little bit cheaper, 60 energy, than Draco Meteor. But anyways, like it provides like a little bit better matchup. At least you have some like it's a way easier matchup for Metagross, but at least you have some like bait game potential against Metagross, depending on how popular it is going to be.
Kyogre too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I think I think either way you have a pretty decent matchup against Kyogre, just because you resist, but certainly not going for the Draco Meteor and reducing your attack is pretty preferential for sure.
I've just had so many games that end with like a Draco Meteor knocking out a Swampert at the very end, right before it hits the Earthquake.
Yeah,
so
and that's
I feel like you need Draco Meteor.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. Allow you to hit neutral. Yeah, just devastating. I don't even know how much. It probably almost one shot the Swampert.
Yeah.
If it doesn't actually one shot it, so I think that's a very good point. Be able to counter one of its main counters in the close game with a little bit of an energy advantage, actually probably quite a bit of energy advantage or a shield advantage is going to be needed to take out a Swampert. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next dominant Pokemon, which is going to be Togekiss. So like why Togekiss over Gardevoir or Clefable or any other set of Charmers?
The moves other than Charm.
Moves other than Charm. Okay, tell me about them.
Oh, just the Flamethrower Ancient Power option. Probably especially Flamethrower in this meta is going to be able to. I just kind of feel a little bit walled by a lot when I do use Clefable, or I guess not Clefable here, but Gardevoir. Gardevoir is really glassy too.
I agree. The coverage of its charge moves is always what makes Togekiss fun. For me, it's always in almost every meta I find, I think the typing is a liability because there's a lot of electric, a lot of rock that can just wreck it. You'll notice that especially with Giratina with Ancient Power. The typing is a liability, but the variance on the charge moves is just really, really nice. It's so hard to wall it. Flamethrower hits the main thing that you beat Charmers with, which is Steel. For neutral, it all and a lot of the poison Pokemon, which are also grass. So I think the access to Flamethrower is really, really fun for Togekiss. And the fact that in Master League it's just a lot bulkier than it is in the other leagues. I think it's the highest peaking Charmer. So I think those are the benefits, really.
Yeah, it's just a much higher CP in general, and the only one that's close is Gardevoir, which has that weakness to Ghost.
Yeah, I think if Gardevoir didn't have psychic subtyping, I think it would actually be better because Giratina Altered has a good match, I think beats Togekiss in the 0 shield and in the 1 shield if it lands a Dragon Claw bait. I would say maybe not a non-flying Charmer would be better, but unfortunately having that subtyping of psychic makes the Shadow Claw super effective, and it would just add up to way too much damage for Gardevoir to be able to handle.
On a similar note, we were talking about the very lack of grass damage. If you wanted grass damage for Swampert without having to go to one of those other options I talked about earlier, Gallade is going to be there. It's not super bulky, but Leaf Blade is going to hit Swampert obviously extremely hard, and close combat is such a good move for Dialga. I'd probably run it with Confusion, not Charm, but it's probably has viability with both. It's definitely a spicier pick, but I think it has play.
It definitely is a very spicy pick. It's glassy. It's the same stats as Gardevoir. And again, but with Charm, like you might, if you have Charm, you might surprise a Giratina that's gonna come in thinking that can just farm down, but the Charm damage is gonna add up. I think it's an interesting pick for sure.
I wish we could use Roserade, but I don't think it's ever gonna have its day.
I wish to.
Turkey wishes.
Am I the only one with 7 max double move Roserades? Probably.
Yes,
Actually,
you
I
are.
have 6. Is that close enough?
I have nine max, but only 7 of them have double moves.
That's crazy.
You double moved them too?
Yeah, I double moved them all because I didn't have TMs, and when I was back doing raid challenges every day, I needed poison and grass charge moves depending on what raid I was doing. So,
no. I think I double moved mine as well.
Yeah,
to be
back
fair,
and forth,
because
double move
for the same reason.
Yeah.
Because I think I was trying to do like a Togekiss duo or something like that with
Yeah,
Roserades, and then I needed to double move it because I didn't have no TMs. So
Yeah.
what do you
I
want to
probably
do?
did millions of dust just because I don't have TMs, just to get those charge moves.
Yeah. But now that problem is largely resolved because of the excess amount of TMs that we've gotten.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the other dominant set of Pokemon, Giratinas. So here in this diagram, which is largely true, Origin beats Altered. I think the only situation where Altered beats Origin in even energy, even shields is the 2 shield if Origin gets 2 Shadow Balls shielded. Otherwise, it's a pretty dominant matchup. So tell me why why the Giratinas are good, and which one do you prefer?
Well, I think it's so good just because Shadow Claw is so amazing, and it hits largely unresisted other than Snorlax. Shadow Claw is amazing, and the bulk and coverage moves are fantastic. I feel like Origin plays here similarly to how Haunter plays in Great League, except it's bulkier with the insane damage of Shadow Claw plus Shadow Ball, and it has the nice beat option with Ominous Wind. There's just so little that is comfortable against Origin. You don't want to take a Shadow Ball unless you're a Snorlax, and it's just massive amounts of damage output. And Altered is just incredibly bulky. Again, Shadow Claw on a Pokemon that bulky is ridiculous. Ancient Power, Dragon Claw, great coverage. We know how broken Ancient Power is. It's just a great combination of really fast damage, great typing, and good bulk for both of them, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anyone else chime in? I think that's a pretty good summary.
I feel like Toshi covered a lot. Having Ominous Wind as a bait move is just so broken, like because you can just get the boost and then it's over. It's like Giratina Altered in Ultra, just like getting those Ancient Power boosts. It's pretty much game over. It's very similar to that. And there's not a ton that you can really stop it with, Yeah, you kind of.
Okay. Go.
Oh no! I was just like, you kind of need like Charm or Ice damage or Dialga or something that can kind of handle it in order to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it can just run over a team.
That Shadow Ball is just going to hit anything hard other than Snorlax. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I did a video on it last night, and I honestly thought, I'm like, oh, for sure, I'm gonna run Origin. Origin is the dominant Giratina. Like when you don't have to scale down to a CP, like you just have its like max stat product or max CP. Origin's gonna be the best. But actually, what I found in my research is that, and some of you guys already highlighted, it was that Origin's very good in the close. But Altered, I think Altered's a better switch in just because some of its counters, like if a Togekiss tries to switch in, not knowing that matchup, those Ancient Powers are going to do enough to actually beat a Togekiss. So I think that coverage makes it way more flexible when shields are up. And there's like a number of different matchups that Altered wins that Origin doesn't when shields are up. And then as well, Origin is much more bait dependent than Altered, because like Shadow Ball literally does twice as much damage as Ominous Wind. So if you end up, and if you like, in just like we see in Ultra, you see in other things, like if you get hit by an Ominous Wind instead of a Shadow Ball, it's like it's very underwhelming as opposed to any, So obviously, I think there's definitely some play and some consideration. I would in theory I would actually structure my team differently if I was running Altered as opposed to Origin, and then vice versa as well.
Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball is just such an oppressive move combination. You would think Togekiss being a Charmer and being bulky in Master would be a hard counter. In the one shield, Togekiss wins with like 20 HP.
Yeah.
It barely wins just because of how oppressive Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball is. It just, again, I'm going to predict that we're going to be seeing more Snorlaxes just because it's so important just to wall it, because otherwise nothing can take a Shadow Ball and be happy about it, So I think if you're not running Snorlax, you're going to have to constantly be worried about Origin.
Yeah.
It's a disgusting thought, but nobody's thought about Blissey, right? I saw Casey use Blissey, and like it was just so beautiful in so many matches, and it makes me want to, but I'm pretty sure it's a very bad idea.
Yeah.
It's a wall, right? And I've definitely seen King of Charmander apply stall tactics, and that's going to be real in Masters. It's definitely going to be real in Masters.
That was a fun line. What did he run? He ran Suicune, Articuno, and Blissey, right?
Yeah. And just like win the lead, oppress, Icy Wind out, and then switch to Blissey, and then and it's going to be real tactic, especially like I think there's going to be a distinct amount of fighting moves in Masters, right? Because of Togekiss, like you might have superpower on Melmetal, might be the only thing. So I think that's a real thing. I think like Blissey's not on this diagram, and it really shouldn't be, but I definitely could see some stall tactics.
Snorlax and something else gonna make a lot of people mad.
Yeah, the stall tactics is for real, right? And that Hyper Beam actually does way more damage than I thought. So
you could Dazzling Gleam. I mean, the dragons too.
Blissey's new meta.
Yeah. Thank goodness they didn't give Blissey any better of a fast move. If it even had a mediocre fast move, like Quick Attack or something, oh my gosh, it would be over, right? We'd just be talking about the Blissey meta.
In all three leagues, they had a good fast move.
For the battle strat, I'm calling it right now. Calling it.
Yeah.
Two normal types.
Yeah, no, sweet. Okay, so let's talk about the next Pokemon, Swampert. So Swampert, obviously, with Hydro Cannon and Earthquake. Any consideration? I know we talked about before the stream. Any consideration for Sludge Wave?
Togekiss is the only consideration. If you are able to land one, if you have an energy lead or a shield lead, it's a huge. It flips the matchup hugely. But we talked about before the stream, I think you need Earthquake for so many matchups, like you mentioned with Dialga and all the anti-charmers. It's so important to have that Earthquake, and also you don't get as hard walled by Giratina because obviously with Sludge Wave every move would be resisted, whereas Earthquake at least can do some damage. So I think if your team is structured in a way that you're super weak to Togekiss and you need an option there, you can run Sludge Wave. But otherwise, I think Earthquake is the one you want to run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Makes sense. And then Swampert just so good with his moveset. Like I know we talked about Venusaur. Any other starters that are viable, or is that it?
I don't know if Charizard is thick enough.
No,
like
Charizard's
it's too sad. It's not good enough. Very sad.
Yeah. Unless we get, it would be cool if they released megas, or even if they just released mega starters, which I don't think I imagine they will. I think megas are going to be phased out of Pokemon completely. But even if they release the Gigantamax just for the starters to make them viable in Masters, I think would be a cool move.
Uh-huh.
but their stats are just too low. Unless you have like an amazing move pool or in typing, it's just too low to compete in Masters.
Yeah, and Fire is just not great typing here. I mean, it obviously is good against the Steel types, but with Swampert and Giratina being so dominant, it's hard to find a niche for Fire. And Dragon Claw just doesn't do enough damage. Even in the matchups where you want Dragon damage, it doesn't do enough.
See, if Charizard was Mega Charizard and it was
There you go.
Dragon and Fire, then it would be viable. I think the only other I'm looking at some of the starters. I think the only one that would make sense is like Empoleon because it has a steel typing for like Togekiss.
Yeah.
And for like the dragon damage and stuff. But even then, it just loses to Swampert pretty badly.
Really? Well, that's rough.
Yeah.
Does it have any play? Does it beat Dialga if it's not running Thunder and if Empoleon's running Blizzard? Like, does it get to the Blizzard before Draco Meteor KOs it?
Oh, shot.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I imagine the Dragon Breath would eventually be so oppressive to it. That's an interesting thought. Yeah, so I think it's too bad. But we all knew that starters would see almost all the starters saw like really good play in Ultra. So maybe that's good enough.
Just too many dragons here.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just kind of hold up. And then also the combination of the stats. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then we also have on this diagram, which I think is, I would say probably the most controversial pick on a meta diagram, is Garchomp. I think Garchomp is really good, but it loses. It at least takes a lot of damage from so many Pokemon that are very meta-centric. What are your thoughts on Garchomp?
Squishy, but very powerful if you play it right. Just because Mudshot Earthquake is such a nice set. But I definitely think it will be hard to use just because Outrage and Earthquake are both a lot of energy, but a very, very nice set for this meta.
I agree. I think it's probably a good closer because 2 nukes that Mudshot will get you faster than other Pokemon would.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes such oppressive Dragon Breath damage. It's glassier than a lot of other options here. It just Dragon Breath it just takes a lot of really hard damage. And if shields are up and they can block those nukes, you're gonna have a bad time. I think that's probably the best play with shields down.
It's like Dragon Haunter. We were talking earlier about, was it Sand Tomb on it for a different bait move option, which was kind of a nice idea I hadn't thought of yet, but
Sand Tomb could be interesting. I think there's definitely some consideration for Sand Tomb. It does very little damage, but it even when super effective, it's very underwhelming.
If they think they're an earthquake, and then
but that stat changes.
Does it even beat the Steel Pokemon if it doesn't have Earthquake? Because I'd imagine like a Metagross can probably tank a Sand Tomb.
How about Sand Tomb Earthquake?
Okay.
And then an Outrage. That Outrage is going to hit harder just because of the defense drop.
Yeah.
I like running Outrage on Garchomp, but I also don't plan on running Garchomp, I don't think. So.
Yeah, so Garchomp can straight Sand Tomb. Actually, no. Let's see here. Can it straight Sand Tomb? Okay, let me just. So it loses if it straight Sand Tomb. But if it has Outrage Sand Tomb, then it can beat Metagross in the 0, and then it can straight Sand Tomb in the 1 and the 2.
Okay, cool.
Straight Sand Tomb for which Pokemon?
Metagross.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. It's not like it's not crazy glassy. It's actually tankier than Dragonite and Dialga.
Yeah.
So it has a little bit of bulk, but it's not like Snorlax or Blissey or Lugia or whatever. But it's I would say it's like it has a decent bulk to it.
Yeah.
So I think it has some play, but that matchup against Togekiss being so terrible, like Togekiss can just just charm it down the whole way through, unless you're running Fire Blast. Then Sand Tomb Fire Blast. If
Don't
you
get any ideas, Nightwing.
Don't do it.
Yeah, or Return, I guess. Return might be better than Fire Blast.
Does it get returned actually?
Return.
Actually,
Wow.
I don't know if it has Return. This PV Poke has it on this thing. Is it? I don't actually think it's an option as a.
Yeah, I don't think it is either.
I think it was added in the code, and then I think that's why he has it. But if it did get returned, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think that would actually have some play.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting. Throw some mind games, but Sand Tomb Fire Blast would probably KO Togekiss. So you would need a tremendous energy lead, but it's something to consider. But it has some play. It just has to. You also have to be cognizant of the moveset that it's running as well. You don't want to get baited. You don't want your Giratina to get outraged. You don't want your Dialga to get earthquaked. And then as well, it does straight up beat Swampert, just straight outrage. It has some play, but it's certainly going to be one of those Pokemon that are going to be a little trickier to use.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the Anti-Fairies. I think Melmetal is the clear favorite in terms of general meta play. But I know we talked about before the stream that there's some other considerations such as Metagross. So does anyone want to compare and contrast between them?
Yeah. Melmetal is one of the few Pokemon that beats Dialga and Togekiss pretty hard, and while also having some play against the Tinas. You can just straight. Its moveset is so flexible. I think you want to run Superpower and Rock Slide here, like you would in Ultra. And Superpower is so good you can just double up on it and beat Dialga. And Rock Slide obviously for Togekiss. It hits almost everything. I'm trying to think of something that it hits almost everything with at least neutral with that set, and it's a lot bulkier in Master than it is in Ultra. Obviously, Thundershock is it's very good at spamming high damage moves. Thundershock and Rock Slide or Superpower. I probably wouldn't want to get it locked in just because you want to get it out of that after Superpower. But something I've loved doing in Ultra is just like throwing a Superpower, dipping, and coming back with a second nuke later on. It's a lot of really strong damage and a typing that really works in this meta.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the coffin or on the whatever, right? Really well. On Melmetal scaling, its stats scale up so well in Masters. Like we typically view it as pretty glassy in graded in Ultra, but it really shines in Masters.
Yeah.
It just has to worry about the other Anti-Fairies. But I'd say it might be the best Anti-Fairy and most versatile.
Mhm.
But
even Superpower is going to hit most of the other Anti-Fairies pretty hard.
I guess it's true.
Yeah. It loses to Metagross, but it's interesting. It's like
How does it do with Heatran? How does it do with Heatran?
So it actually beats Heatran.
Okay.
Boom.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, so it shows that Heatran wins in the Zero Shield, but if you go into Sandbox mode, you can actually toggle it and show it that actually hits the second Superpower before it gets to Flamethrower.
Wow.
I use Heatran so infrequently that I don't really know. You run Fire Fang, right?
Fire Spin, I think, on Heatran.
Fire Spin. If it had Fire Fang, that would be
Fire
pretty
Spin.
cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Fire Spin. Fire Fang would actually be very interesting on Heatran, but I'm not sure. Looking at Heatran, whether or not I can actually open its mouth. Does it? Actually, it does. Or whether it has any teeth in its
Somebody see their
its
buddy
mouth.
Barry
It actually does open its mouth. I'm just remembering rates, but
Okay.
Yeah. Bug Bite as its other fast move.
What?
If it gets Bug Bite as its other fast move, it has to open its mouth at some point.
that's
there
true.
you
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's so
Fire
weird.
Fang it is. Hopefully, Niantic, if you're watching, give
Helps
it some Fire Fang, because Fire Fang damage would do quite a bit. But I think Heatran's also really interesting because it is it does uniquely double resist Charm,
Right.
right?
I think is it the only Pokemon in the game that does that?
Double resist Charm. It's only Fire Steel type in the game. I guess any
Well, 3 types that resist charm, and I don't think there's any fire, poison, or poison steel. So probably.
Gen 7,
Yeah.
Fire Poison, Swazzle. So
Salazzle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I had no idea what that Pokemon is, but it's a good,
Really
good,
cool. It's really
good
cool.
knowledge.
We're gonna figure it out in a couple years.
Yeah. Whenever it comes out, I'll mispronounce that Pokemon name as well.
I'd imagine that it can. I haven't run this in, but can it just straight fire spin Togekiss down? Because ancient power is going to be resisted, flamethrower is going to be resisted, charm is double resisted. I'd probably just fire spin it down, couldn't it?
Flamethrower is not resisted. That's the
Oh, right,
Yeah,
steel.
both neutral. Both charge moves are neutral. Let's see. Can it fire spin it down? Probably not. Let's see here. So it cannot fire spin it down. It's close.
It's close. Okay.
It's close. It's like it has 6 HP left in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it would have produced at that point in time 180 energy. So obviously,
How much energy will it come out with if it just throws its least powerful move?
Ironhead. So let's say it throws a Ironhead.
And then
And hit none of the bubbles.
Okay, let me see here. Okay, so it comes out with Ironhead is basically it's gonna do 2/3 to. Let's see here. Okay, let me try to update this. Charm. If you do it right after the flamethrower. Oh my gosh. Okay, why can't I do this? I'm sure there's a situation where you can maximize it. So let's say they flamethrower you, and you decide to throw it. It's probably better to undercharge the Ironhead.
Oh,
Hit none
Yeah.
of the ball.
yeah.
So,
That's probably the best way to play it out. Undercharge
Hit like
the Ironhead.
you need a 10 chip damage. Like you'll need probably 10.
Again,
15
probably the
damage.
ideal way to play it is like right before they get to a charge move, undercharge it. So like force them in their head. Like, do you want to shield so you can get off this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get off the charge move, or are you gonna let it go?
You can get a shield in that situation. That'd be
Yeah,
fantastic.
go to the shield, right? Because a lot of people they see their charge move or you, and
Don't want to waste their energy.
and Heatran has a higher attack, so you can like force the.
Yep.
If you can be clever, and they're the same number of turns, so easy
pretty
enough to count.
Charms too. So if you wanted to just like see when they got to the 55 energy for flamethrower,
Yeah.
and then use
Likely
Ironhead.
they'll just throw the ancient power, try to get the boost.
Oh,
but,
right, yeah.
So just count it up to the ancient power, and then fire it, play some mind games, and then go like that.
I feel like Heatran is like so specific to that matchup though. Like
That's mostly all it does.
It's gonna be like a lot of Swampert around. Huh?
Yeah, I
It's
think
not
it has an okay. It has an okay matchup against Dialga as well.
Yeah. If it got like overheat or something, if it got like a different move, that would be amazing.
It's probably the only Pokemon in Master other than Melmetal that actually takes hard mud shot damage.
You're right. So
but-
it's interesting, but and if Metagross becomes really popular, then all those fire spins will do quite a bit. So it has to be careful of Earthquake though, because it will one shot
like-
it.
Beat out something.
Okay, how about Regirock?
If only Regirock got a good fast move.
Wait, what? That's lock on.
Right, I was joking.
Oh, I was gonna say.
But yeah, obviously, I mean, we know how good the Regis are just because of the lock-on damage. Lock-on addition to the move pool. And it actually has really fun charge moves with Stone Edge. It's a lot faster to a charge move than Registeel, with Stone Edge being 55 instead of 65. It has some good matchups. It loses to a lot in this meta. The rock typing is not super good, but it definitely is going to have to play, I think.
Yeah, I think it has. So it has all the really good matchups that you want. It has all the moves that you want. It's just the rock typing kind of holds it back a little bit.
Yep.
Like you were saying, it's the fastest Stone Edge in the game, which is amazing.
Yep.
And Stone Edge is not one of those like, oh, it's like an okay move. It's a Shadow Ball clone, and just nuking Stone Edges is really fun.
Yeah.
And then Focus Blast for like Dialga and things like that, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Focus
a
Blast
nice
is
one.
not enough to straight up KO Dialga because of its low attack.
Mm.
A little disappointing, but a little disappointing. But unfortunately, despite how strong Focus Blast is typically.
Do you need 2 Stone Edges to beat a Togekiss? Or probably, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But it is bulky, so it'll probably get to the 2. But
You do get to it in the Zero Shield right before they get the Nature Power, so something.
You wouldn't have to shield anything, would you? No. So
do you lose the 1 shield then?
No, you win the 1 shield, and you even win like not shielding.
Right. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Unless they go spicy and go
How
dazzling
much
gleam.
How much do you have left? I don't want to be farmed. It sucks being farmed when you're lock on and you can't do anything about it.
Okay. How much energy you have left?
Yeah, after you kill Togekiss.
Well, you finish it off with a Stone Edge, right? So like
And then how much HP do you have left to be farmed while you can only
18.
lock on?
18.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if a Swampert probably would come in.
Mud shot it down. Yeah.
Swampert just mud shot it down.
That would suck.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's kind of a maybe you don't want the best Regirock you possibly have.
Yeah, but you can get to if it does try to farm down. You can't get to a Stone Edge.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. And how many mud shots do you get? 5?
It gets 6.
6.
This is a
That's a lot
54
of-
energy. Yeah.
That's a lot of
Kind of leaves it. And it only lost 11 HP.
Yeah.
Kind of leave yourself in a very vulnerable.
I mean, it's a very
Such a
very
spot.
specific method, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a dangerous position to be in.
Yeah, it's a. I want it to work because I'm trying to think of like other interesting Pokemon, but I think Regirock is difficult to. It's just its attack stats fortunately not high enough to be able to like. If it could one shot Dialga, I think it would have way more play.
Yeah.
But
Anything one shot Dialga, one shot Dialga would have a lot.
The thing about Lock On is, even though it's so good, it's also really inflexible. We were talking about it earlier, how it does so little damage. You have to do 2 flash cannons against like a Clefable because you're not going to be able to farm anything down. So even if the charge move does like 90% of your health, you're going to have to use another one. It's almost energy inefficient in that way because it's so hard to just farm anything down. You have to just use all your damage on fast moves, on charge moves.
Yeah, and then you're so handicapped when
Right.
when you've got no energy, but you have like 25% of your health left. You're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
enjoy your 3 hydro cannons.
yeah, I guess if E-Trend becomes really popular, then that's some play. But I find it very difficult to use Regirock as a core meta pick. Like if you want to use it as a niche pick or a spicy pick, then I think it has some consideration.
Mhm.
Okay.
If I had to take one
Sorry.
that diagram, I would take off Regirock for sure. I just don't think it's.
Take off Regirock and add Kyogre.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Good
so
call. Good call.
I think Kyogre. I think we'll get to it when we get to the budget picks. So that's the Go Hub meta diagram. There's also PvPoke's premier picks. Includes has some suggested movesets. I think this is a really good diagram. Obviously, check out pvpoke.com. Amazing resource. I think he's doing a tournament right now, so hopefully he's winning using Licky Licky. So a lot of really great picks here. The Mewtwo, I know we talked about Side Strike, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast. He also has Ice Beam here.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ice Beam likely paired with Side Strike.
Yeah.
Or if you're worried about Giratina's as as an option, or be able to hit super effective against Togekiss or Dragonite. But what are some of the matchups that you guys are aware of, or trade-offs when it comes between the Psystrike and Shadow Ball?
So I actually checked this while we were talking earlier, just because I was thinking of Psystrike versus Shadow Ball, and because Psystrike is cheaper, there are situations where Mewtwo can beat Dialga in the one shield if it just does straight Psystrikes.
No
Whereas-
way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got it right there.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
But like, you have to do sandbox mode, because if you try to do like an ice beam or something, then you just can't hit another charge move. So I think Psystrike being only 45 energy is a huge asset, and I think like it's just, you just have to have it.
That's
Psystrike is amazing. The DPS is just crazy. The DPE, sorry, is just crazy. I think Shadow Ball is a very good meta to have ghost damage, because of the Girautinas. I think Shadow Ball and Focus Blast is just such good coverage. We were talking about it earlier, how it's just nothing that will wall that moveset, but they just don't have the DPE that Psystrike does. I think you could run it with either. I think if you have Psystrike, you need Ice Beam for the Giratina matchup. You're not gonna lose that much without Shadow Ball if you have Ice Beam anyway. It's not as good, but it's good. And then Psystrike is for all the neutral matchups. It's so good.
That's actually kind of mind blowing. My mind is actually kind of blown that you can say straight Psystrike down a Dialga in the one shield. I think that raises Psystrike Mewtwo stock a lot.
I was gonna say that it's not a good meta to have, not a good meta for psychic damage. But I guess if it does so much damage, it even hits resisted.
Mewtwo's attack stat so high, it might as well be doing super effective damage, right? That's actually pretty insane. Wow, I'm actually legitimately
charge moves because of it being so cheap. That it's just, you have to go for that, because if it's like, okay, you could only hit 4 charge moves anyways, like
right. I definitely think the two sets you're going to see that both have very high viability are Psystrike plus Ice Beam or Shadow Ball plus Focus Blast.
Yeah,
is what I would do.
I agree with that for sure.
Wow. Okay. That's nuts.
All right, stream over. Let's go home.
I'm kind of mind blown here. You just need Mewtwo.
That is
just gonna run triple Mewtwo.
If any of my lucky friends were watching, save your Psystrike Mewtwo's for me, please.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Wow.
I will note that I'm a little bit biased because I have 12 maxed Mewtwo, 4 of them with second moves, and none of them with Psystrike. So I really just want it to be bad. So I don't need it. So I don't need a max.
Toshi, I'm with you. We need to go lucky again because I've got nothing. Nothing with
I don't want to max the 13th Mewtwo. I mean, I have Psystrike ones. I just don't want to have to max another one.
Oh, I have a 96. I guess I'll have to max.
I have a Psystrike Ice Beam and a Psystrike Focus Blast. And I keep trying one or the other, and every time I choose Focus Blast, it turns out I needed Ice Beam. Every time I choose Ice Beam 1, it turns out I needed Focus Blast. So
actually, can you be thinking now what matchups I'm reading wrong just because I don't know how much neutral Psystrike does? Does Psystrike actually do better damage against Giratina just because of how good it is?
No, not than Shadow Ball. So
no, not Shadow Ball, Ice Beam.
Oh, then Ice Beam. Okay, that's a good question.
If Psystrike does more damage than Ice Beam, or at least comparable, then I don't know. Do you even need Ice Beam?
So it does a 2.65 DP versus 2.44. It's close, but it does make it.
So close. I mean, honestly, it's so close considering that Ice Beam's super effective.
Yeah, one day we'll be able to get this Psystrike Shadow Ball.
Yep.
Yeah,
that would be the set. If you could get both of them, that would be the set.
And then we're gonna have to max more.
Yeah.
Psystrike does a damage against Giratina Origin. That's absurd.
Yeah. 2021, I'll have 40 max Mewtwo with 13 different movesets. That was great.
That's kind of mind blowing. But I think if you were to have a single charge move legendary, I think not that I recommend it because I think the second was always really helpful. But I think one viable one is just Psycho Cut Psystrike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Really? Okay. Cool. Maybe I'll just use that.
Is a consideration, right? I don't necessarily recommend it, but I think it probably gives you the lowest drop off compared to the other ones. So
Kyogre maybe.
Kyogre, yeah, Kyogre's a good one as well.
Blizzard is fun, but I mean,
on Kyogre, would you have
waterfall and surf.
Waterfall Surf? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Save me dust. Writing these down.
Getting Kyogre surf was just so big.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think King made a video actually before of how Swampert was just destroying everything and Kyogre just wasn't. And now it's like Kyogre is actually viable.
It just like tap, tap, tap. Just like, don't really have to think about it.
Yeah, it's got tremendous bulk. Waterfall does so much damage, and the bulk means that the low energy gain is not super bad, and also the fact that surf is so cheap that you're gonna still get to a lot of them. It's oppressive water damage with waterfall and surf, and it walls Swampert pretty much because even Earthquake's not gonna hurt too much.
Yeah, absolutely. If Niantic, if you're listening, give Kyogre Ice Beam.
Yeah.
Yeah. In VGC, Ice Beam is like the main move they use on Kyogre anyway.
Yeah,
It's like it's the reason why it's so good. Like
It's actually.
Why do we have Blizzard?
Why does it have Blizzard?
I'm just saying. Why do we get over Ice Beam? Is what I'm saying. Why do we have that?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Good question.
I think that's just the moveset they gave it.
Kyogre beats Togekiss in the 0 and 1 shield, which I think is actually like notable.
That's notable. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I agree. That's definitely because I definitely think early on Swampert, Togekiss gonna be very popular in the early ones because just they're very accessible, things that people are gonna have anyways or easily be able to power up. So I think Kyogre will be an early strong pick. As the meta matures, like if people start going towards like Giratina and Dialga, then it might have a little bit harder time. But I think it's
Kyogre win if it doesn't shield and Togekiss does once. Probably not, right?
okay. That's a good question. So you're talking about can it go away from?
Yeah, no shield for Kyogre and one for Togekiss. I mean, if Togekiss double shields, it's gonna like win almost everything. But what if it just shields once and you don't?
So if you let me see here. You're like you're at the surf. So if you have like a little bit of energy advantage versus the Togekiss, then you can in theory not shield once and then land the oh sorry, actually I'm gonna you can land the surf to KO.
Nice.
If you have an energy advantage, because the charms you're at like it depends. I don't know. I can't imagine that situation. Maybe in the close, it would, and they have a one shield advantage, would be a potential scenario. But I can't see like a situation where they would switch it their Togekiss onto Kyogre. But
Because you like a lead situation. Because
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of a lead, yeah. But if you don't have that energy advantage, then you might have to expand a shield for that, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Togekiss in the lead with 2 shields. Like if you really want to win switch advantage, if switch advantage is really important in Masters, which it may or may not be, definitely consideration.
Only nerds double shield charmers. That's what Toshi says.
Yeah.
Only nerds double
Only
shield.
nerds double shield charmers.
Yeah, because you're actually better off in you're like actually in the exact same rating whether you shield once or twice.
If you really want someone to hate you, just get a boost and then double shield your Togekiss.
Oh God.
Yeah. I just that's a good way to get Toshi to throw his phone against the wall. When a boosted Togekiss sweeps your entire team in GBL. I had no play. I was just like, oh great, this is over.
You did that, and then you got a Giratina boost right after. Oh, I just die.
I had one set where I got a Giratina boost, Togekiss boost in the next game, and then a Giratina boost in the game after that.
Oh my God.
Not playing for the day. It was over. It was just
Just quit PvP.
Yeah, Kyogre is really good because like even a lot of the counters, like in the one shield matchup, it shows like 36 losses with just Waterfall and Surf. But a lot of these ones, like we're just not going to see the play. Besides, now we're gonna see Torterra because of Toshi. You pointing it out, but outside a lot of these, are not that viable. It's only the
So what
the
are
dragons.
we going to take out the Kyogre with?
Sorry, what?
What are we going to take out the Kyogre with?
There's lots
I've
of things
heard-
like the Dialga, for example.
Does Dialga do pretty well? How about Raikou? We haven't really talked about it at all. It's an amazing Pokemon. There are a few things that it hits well here.
So, but this is
It's so glassy.
It is. It is extremely glassy. It's kind of a if you're good with energy kind of Pokemon.
I'd imagine it probably barely beats Kyogre just because of the the waterfall damage is gonna hurt.
So it loses in the
Yeah.
Raikou loses in the 0, and then wins in the 1.
How about the 2?
In the 2, Raikou just barely. Well, not just barely. It can survive two more waterfalls after that.
How about Togekiss? It's gonna. Sorry.
Oh, it's probably gonna hurt Kyogre. Actually, I don't imagine we're
So
Raiku's real asset is as a switch, just because if you have a little bit of an energy lead and you can hit anything with a Shadow Ball or a Wild Charge, that's pretty big. So
Yeah, I
as long
like it as a flop.
The thing is, do you run Volt Switch or Thunder Shock? I'd imagine probably Volt Switch, right?
I would run Thunder Shock just because you want to get to those charge moves.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
I would run Thundershock as well.
yeah,
Both are slow, so that I feel like you'd get caught dying right before you get charge move so much.
yeah, I agree.
I feel like if it was like a tankier Pokemon, I might like the Volt Switch.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Or if electric damage was more helpful
Yeah.
outside of Kyogre, would be.
I'm gonna say the same thing I said about Mewtwo. It's just you love having that ghost damage with Shadow Ball for the Girautinas. I think that's one of the things that it's gonna. We said it with Mewtwo, with Lucario, and now with Raikou. Having that option, as a secondary move is really good coverage.
Yeah, I think Shadow Ball was 100% designed for Masters.
Yeah.
For Raikou, just to be able to, letting a Shadow Ball on a Giratina or on a Mewtwo is very good.
It's got a pretty decent attack stat, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like 246 regular. Then scaled down is like 202.
Electric and Fire are both very offense heavy typings. All have good attack stats. Not very bulky.
Who did you say does? I cut off at first.
Electric and Fire are both very high attack types.
Mm-hmm.
And Psychic.
Okay, and then some other picks that we see on this diagram, at least at the top, is Gyarados. What do you think of Gyarados?
It's a little squishy. I don't really like using it that much. I've tried.
It's squishy, and we've noticed this over and over again. With a high damage fast move like Dragon Breath, you really notice the lack of stab.
Yeah.
I do.
With Dragon Breath damage, you also with like Charm, any confusion, any high damage fast move, the stab is so good. You misses it without it.
Yeah, and unlike in Ultra, it doesn't have as good a matchup versus the Giratinas.
No.
Then all of its charge moves aren't really stab except for Hydro Pump, which you're basically never going to get to. You could try a waterfall. I mean, you could try as a water, but then you would why not just use Kyogre? So I don't see much point for Gyarados here.
It gives you.
Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Gyarados is it's good, but it's not great at anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of just you lose a lot of neutral matchups. You win a lot of neutral matchups, and you win the things you're supposed to win, but not by a lot, and you can't really take advantage of your energy that you're gaining in your matchups, as opposed to other Pokemon like we talked about, like Dialga or Giratina. They can farm down at the end of the matchup and then throw another charge move at the next Pokemon. That
Right.
like that.
The main thing I'd say about Gyarados, the note I'd make is it's probably one of the best Swampert walls because it resists both Hydro Cannon and Earthquake. The typing is very good for Swampert, but even still, it's so glassy. I'd imagine the Hydro Cannon damage adds up. But that is when I was looking at Masters yesterday, I did note it's one of the few things that can hard wall that Swampert, which is nice to have.
It's just that it like barely ever gets to its charge moves, so you can just like Hydro Cannon, and like it's not that scary, I guess, if you're a Swampert. Although like a waterfall would be
Swampert is good.
Yeah.
Swampert's a god.
Yeah, if you switch in late on a Swampert, then in the 2-shield matchup, like if Swampert has, I don't know what you're necessarily.
I feel like if you're switching it, you usually get like 3 Dragon Breath, so like 9 energy, right?
Yeah, no, I meant like Swampert switching it. Like Swampert switches in, and they counter switch to Gyarados.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Like if he gets 2 mud shots off, then you can get that Hydro Cannon and 2 shield less with 4 HP. So if you have like less than an ideal Gyarados, then
Right.
can be scary. But
Gyarados just needs a better charge move, like Surf or something, to give it better just matchups in general.
Give it Hydro Cannon.
Give it Hydro Cannon. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't just have any.
If it had a dragon typing, I'd like it a lot.
Like Mega Gyarados.
Like,
It would play
Sky
like King Dragon.
Just make everything mega.
flying. It's like a crappy water and a crappy flying. Like, make it a dragon or something, or flying.
Yeah, ridiculous using Sky Attack, like the actual just animation of it.
So Mega Gyarados is water and dark type. So if you do something like Night Slash and make it dark type, or give it Snarl or something. I don't know.
That'd be awesome. Wow. Snarl, Crunch, Gyarados.
I feel like if you have Snarl, you might not even need Crunch. You know, Snarl or Earth. So Snarl, Outrage, Hydro Pump.
That'd be a force.
Done. Listen up, Niantic.
Yeah,
I don't think it gets Snarl though in the main series. So
That's fine. Don't worry about it. We're fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can add it. But I don't Megas are gonna come back. Okay, and then other options here. So they have the like raid like budget options. So what are your thoughts on Machamp?
It's squishy. I don't love it. It's really hard to use. We talked about it earlier against Dialga. Like, it doesn't do that well. You're like, okay, supposed to be like doing a bunch here and going down. Like, it's okay, but there's a lot against it.
Yeah, I think it's just too hard to too many of the core meta things that like it just
Yeah.
It has one match that it does okay at. And that's it.
The thing that makes Dialga so good is that the rest of the meta is really good against fighting, so you're not gonna want to bring it. Like the Giratinas and Togekiss just ruin Machamp's life. Yeah.
I think it's actually a pretty solid pair with Giratina Origin because it beats Snorlax and it beats all the dark types.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and then it would beat Dialga as well. So.
And looking at this graphic, I realized I had forgotten something. I said earlier that Snorlax was the only thing that liked tanking a Shadow Ball. I'd imagine Tyranitar also does it pretty well because of the dark.
I have like a scrubby question because I have like legitimately no idea. Darkrai is just bad at PvP, right?
it's really glassy, but it can hit really hard. But
Like dark and fighting Haunter. It's got interesting moves, but yeah, like you say, it just seems very glassy.
Yeah, it is extremely. Let's see. Let me just show up the stats here. It's very attack heavy. It's a really high attack stat, but it's so glassy. It's like a glassier than Swampert that has like 800 less CP than it. 700 less CP.
Yeah, it's got the same stat product as Machamp, I think, or no, it's all better than Machamp. It's got the same. Yeah, Swampert is a good comparison.
Yeah, it's glassier than Mewtwo, which I would consider Mewtwo pretty glassy for Masters. Yeah, where there's so many bulky Pokemon, it just cannot take a hit.
You know what Darkrai reminds me of? It reminds me of Honchkrow in Ultra.
That's what I was.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Classy, but also the damage output is insane. Like I battled a Darkrai the other day, and I couldn't believe how much the neutral damage was doing.
Like, if you get it in the right spot, like it's gonna blow you away. But you need a shield sometimes too.
Yeah, Darkrai does beat Dialga in the one shield with 1 HP.
Okay.
So
I think it's a good switch-in because you think the classic Pokemon aren't good switch-ins because you don't want to get them locked into a bad matchup. But with Snarl and the high damage charge moves, if you switch it into a 2 Snarl lead, you're gonna burn a shield. You're gonna get to 2 Dark Pulses. You're gonna get to a Focus Blast. I liked using Shiftry a lot in Great League as a switch-in because even resisted Leaf Blades, just if you get 3 of them, you're gonna have to get Shield 1. So I think if you want to use Darkrai, switch it in. If you lose the lead, switch in a Darkrai. You'll burn the field on the back and then have their Pokemon locked in maybe a better matchup.
Yeah. So
Like
this
a
is
hunter. Yeah.
this is very unlikely because likely you're gonna take damage when you switch in. But if you do get 2 Snarl lead and for whatever reason don't take any damage, then you can double Focus Blast on a Dialga.
Wow.
I'm not sure why they would switch in, but if that's their play.
Yeah,
then,
it's a very, very high damage moveset and typing and not typing moveset and attack stat. So it will probably have play, but I don't think it's gonna be a
loses
Like
Swampert as well.
it's about a third of its health from a Shadow Ball from Giratina Origin. So even though it does win, it's not as decisive as you'd want it to be.
How much damage does Shadow Ball do to Tyranitar? Do you know?
Yeah, I can look it up right now.
I'd imagine T-Star is a lot bulkier in Master, and it's resisted, so I'd imagine it does pretty well.
So it does about 30%.
I think there's just so much against Tyranitar, and it's just not versatile enough with Bite. It's just such a crappy charging move.
I don't think you'd run Bite, would you? All right.
I would, if I was gonna use Tyranitar, I would probably want Bite, but I don't really want to use my Tyranitar against a Togekiss, so I wouldn't want Smackdown.
Yeah, I think it wins Smackdown basically no matter what, but it's a great pick for Master.
Smackdown is just the energy. I mean, it's not good energy, but it's better than Bite. And again, it can play against Togekiss. I ran that sim earlier. It's the funniest thing because you pretty much don't get to a charge move. But Tyranitar will burn a shield because Tyranitar will get to crunch before the charm it down. So it'll burn a shield, then Togekiss will be left with 5 HP, which is nice. If you run Togekiss and T-Tar with no charge moves at all and just fast move damage, Togekiss only wins with 5 HP left because Smackdown is hitting you so hard and T-Tar's a lot bulkier. So if you take away all the charge moves, I think Togekiss has 6 HP left or something like that.
Yeah, 6
So
HP.
you'll be running the T-Tar 4. I mean, you don't want it for Togekiss because it's dark, so it's basically just what it.
Well, I think depends on what people favor in the meta, Dialga or Giratina. If people ultimately favor Giratina over Dialga for whatever reason, then Tyranitar has it loses to Togekiss, but at least when shields are up, it has some play.
T-Tar is a very, very good answer to the Giratinas, both of them, because it's resisting that Shadow Claw damage, which is going to be a problem for everything else, and it's hitting them with neutral. I don't know if it wins the one shield against Altered, but I'd imagine it probably does, and it definitely wins it against Origin.
Yeah, it definitely wins against both. It's also a very good Lugia counter.
That's true.
So that becomes a thing.
Yeah, I think both Giratinas and having a fairly neutral matchup against Togekiss is fun. It's negative neutral, but it's in all 3 shield conditions, Togekiss barely comes away limping. So
definitely gonna take the Dragonite out too. So
Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say if Mewtwo is more popular, but looks like you can double Focus Blast when it's running Smackdown. If that's the moveset you ultimately go with, and then if it doesn't have Focus Blast, then it's a good Mewtwo counter. Yeah, so some play there. I think Tyranitar. Well, we might see some Tyranitars, especially if people already have them maxed out. It's such a good raid Pokemon that people will have probably both Smackdown and Bite variants. So that's something that you'll have to take into consideration. And the lack of fighting. Obviously, Swampert's going to be there, so it might be fine. If they run the Bite variant, then Togekiss is going to easily take care of it.
Oh yeah. I don't think you can run Bite. I just don't, because Bite's mostly for the Tinas, which you'll beat anyway. The only thing I can think of is
for Metagross.
Metagross, I was gonna say, is the main thing you'd want Bite for.
I think you probably outpace Metagross if you run Bite.
I think it'd get to a second Meteor Mesh and beat you. I think.
So you win. Let's see here. So if you're a Tyranitar, yeah, you can just basically, the Bite damage is so tremendous, even though the Bullet Punches do a lot. And then as well, they have about the same bulk, but
how close is Metagross to the second Meteor Mesh?
It is one Bullet Punch off.
Right. Okay. So it's not a clean win, but yeah, it's still. And that's probably the only advantage to Bite, I'd imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
Metagross and then maybe Mewtwo, I guess.
Yeah, any of the steel types would probably be where you would need to potentially have Bite. But yeah, I think SmackDown's better for the mirror, a lot better than mirror, and as well some play against Togekiss and whatnot. So, but yeah, I wouldn't necessarily use Tyranitar in blind threes, but you're certainly gonna see it, so you need to prepare for it.
Yeah, and it does have having
really
really
well.
lopsided matchups against Giratina is always, you're going to want. Any Pokemon that has that good of a matchup against both Tinas is going to be somewhat viable. But yeah, I don't think I'd run it either overall.
Okay, and then Mamoswine.
I love Mamoswine here. Shout out to Behaz. He mentioned to me the other day that Mamoswine can actually beat both Giratinas, Togekiss, and Dialga in the one shield, which is really, really good.
Oh, okay, really?
All four of those Pokemon, yeah. Powder Snow Avalanche is so oppressive, and the thing about Mamoswine and Piloswine that makes it so bad, in my opinion, is that it's weak to everything. It's one of the worst typings in the game. Somehow it manages to be weak to grass, water, fighting, and fire, which is crazy. But in Master League, you see almost no grass and almost no fire. So those weaknesses aren't going to be as prevalent. I feel like, even in the good matchups in Great League, against a grass Pokemon or something where you think an ice Pokemon would do well, the weaknesses, it loses to Venusaur, for example, or I'd probably CMP type Venusaur. But anyway, in Masters, without grass and fire really there, the ice damage is just so strong. It gets bulldozed for coverage. I think it's going to be a really strong pick. It obviously avoid Swampert, but it's just going to be really, really strong pick. I think that's going to be one of the best Pokemon that beats the meta. If you see a lot of Dialga, Togekiss, Giratina cores, throw Mamoswine at them all, and it'll be fine.
And with Bulldoze too, you can hit back at all the steel types.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you don't think about the threat of Mamoswine, you can build a lot of otherwise really strong lineups that will just crumble. There's just nothing.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and Avalanche is such a great move.
Such a great move. It's ridiculous.
Do we care about ancient power on these anymore? I mean, is there legitimately any reason to have it? I could
You want
TM
to get the boost, but it's very similar.
Right? If we've got Avalanche, we don't really need ancient power, so I think people don't need to grade a TM or go ahead. He's like,
yeah,
say it.
There's a few matchups. So, Articuno.
Okay.
Gyarados.
Okay.
In case you see a random Moltres or something.
Are you sure you can't do straight Avalanche Gyarados?
You probably could just straight Avalanche Gyarados, but there are a few.
You're right.
There's a very small number of matchups that actually Ancient Power will help.
Alex, why do you do that to me? I only have one with Ancient Power.
So Gyarados does win in the one shield if you don't have Ancient Power.
I want to get rid of it.
Oh, it's still actually no. It's still actually. It only does 3 more damage than Avalanche.
Really?
But the boost.
The boost.
Avalanche is so good, guys.
Moltres is probably one that makes sense. I don't know.
Is that
Arguably, in my opinion, the second best non-community day charge move after Leaf Blade. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Ancient Power? Yeah.
No, Avalanche.
Oh, Avalanche.
Avalanche, yeah.
Same energy, same damage as Side Strike.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's great. Mamoswine has like a decent attack set, so it's gonna hit pretty hard. So I think it's definitely
I was running Sims, and the more I run it, the more I like it. Mamoswine. And seeing as it had a community day and it was good raid Pokemon, most of us already have one. I know I have like 7 or so maxed, 7 or 9 maxed with other moves. So I mean, it's right there. So
I have 7 maxed, and none of them have Ancient Power. So I don't need it, right? That was where I was going with that, right?
Yeah, you don't need Ancient Power. You just run Bulldoze in this meta.
Okay, cool. Ancient Power. Bulldoze, Avalanche. Yeah, that's what I thought.
don't worry, Kim. If there's ever like a tournament for Master League, I will explain to you how good Ancient Power is day of at the tournament. That you didn't make one, and like I'll have a plan already formulated for why you need Ancient Power, and I'll tell you the day of.
yeah.
Don't worry, I don't listen to you before tournaments anymore. Like 72 hours before, I just turn it off.
The LA story is one of my favorite short stories to tell people. How I made you change your team at the tournament
Yeah,
while we were checking in.
it was great. It was great. It was great.
Bad idea.
It was
The
great.
next one, I think the missed flight was even a little bit better though.
And then so Mamoswine definitely it actually beats Snorlax as well, according to this graphic.
No way.
Doesn't it
It's
really?
Wow.
Snorlax doesn't. I noticed in Ultra League, Snorlax doesn't do enough neutral damage. It doesn't get lick off. It doesn't get stab off lick, and lick's not a great attack anyway. And body slam's really good, but it doesn't. In a lot of the neutral matchups where you think, oh, Snorlax is really bulky, this is a neutral matchup, I'll win it. It just doesn't.
Yeah, just lick doesn't do enough. Body Slam is a decent move, but lick doesn't just do enough damage.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Snorlax is only here because of Origin. The hard walls for Origin is the only reason to even think about Snorlax.
What would you guys say are a few of the Pokemon that have some really close matchups that you might want to look into best buddying? I want Pokemon that like Swampert, something that might do really, really well here, but suffers from being a little low.
I think the clear answer for the best bud is Dialga, because it breaks on Dragon Breath against in the mirror.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then just like absolutely dominates it, right? Like it leaves enough health that whatever comes in, even if it's a counter to it, it's going to do enough damage with the Dragon Breath and potentially get to an Iron Head.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta make one of those.
I think someone else said the Garchomp matchup becomes like very clear because of the Dragon Breath break.
Yep. And that's not to change the subject, but now that we're on Dialga, it's another one where you could almost get by with a single charge move because Dragon Breath Iron Head is so many of its matchups. We were talking about earlier, how if you wanted to save dust, Side Strike Mewtwo was something you didn't really need a second charge move on. I think Dialga is probably another one.
Yeah.
I'd imagine almost all of its, probably like 90% of its matchups are just Dragon Breath Iron Head.
Yeah, or just Dragon Breath. Give it no charge moves. Then
No
it'd probably level it off a little bit better. Allow it to do no charge moves would probably make it a little bit more fair. I think Dialga makes the most sense. I'm sure there's a few others that, but that one is the one where it's like wins in the mirror by a lot with that Dragon Breath break, and
I think you might find success with anything that has a high damage fast move because you're going to look for those breakpoints. I'd imagine, I haven't checked, but I imagine there's probably a charm breakpoint at level 41 against something.
How about, I know from Rose there was a breakpoint with Mud Slap from Rhydon to Sableye. I wonder if there is a breakpoint with Mud Slap here.
Any of the high damage fast moves. Waterfall, Kyogre probably has a breakpoint somewhere.
Yeah, I think a little bit difference between that and like in Great League. In Great League, you can manipulate your attack stat much
True.
much more than you can like.
That's a
You
good
know,
point, yeah.
one level is like it's like a couple percentage difference, right? If
Yeah.
that.
One great point I remember looking into was that Giratina Origin against Dialga. At level 41, its Shadow Claw does 6 instead of 5, which makes it a tie instead of a win for Dialga, which isn't like that big of a deal. I think it'd still be more worth studying Dialga for that, but
Right.
Ooh,
wanna have
okay.
Giratina.
That's still good to know, though.
Ooh, interesting. That's a good one.
Origin is so good. The more I look at it, the more I fall in love with it. It's just so good.
Mhm.
I was talking to Mason a few weeks ago, and I was saying that I liked Altered a lot better for Ultra just because there were more normal Pokemon in Ultra that could wall Origin. But in Master League, there's probably only Snorlax that's going to be the normal type. So I think Origin is.
And Blissey.
And yeah. Kim, okay, how much is Casey paying you right now to say all these things? Be honest with us. But yeah, I think Origin is going to be my preferred Giratina in Master.
I was actually looking into Snorlax to see like what better fast moves they could give it, and they gave it counter in the main series.
Oh no!
Snorlax would counter.
Like
At
just
this point, it's the Master League Vigoroth.
Oh,
Body.
God, I want that.
and then you could just give it outrage for the Giratinas.
Wow. Okay, Niantic, are you listening? Come on.
Interesting.
Counter Snorlax.
So Origin actually beats Blissey in the 0 and the 2 shield.
What?
Stop it, Kate.
That match?
No.
Oh wait, that's a level 41 Origin. Maybe that makes a difference this year. Actually, when I run the sim, it takes so long. It feels like the sim is running in slow motion.
Getting.
Oh, is it getting boost? No boost. No boost, and
No
then
way.
even
How many Shadow Balls
Blizz.
does it take?
It takes a lot of Shadow Ball. It does so. Each Shadow Ball does 10% of Blissey's health.
Oh my god.
It takes all of the shadow balls.
So it has to land. Let's see how many.
Shadow balls later.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It lands 6 Shadow Balls.
And then Ominous wins too, or?
Two ominous wind baits.
Okay, so 2 Ominous win baits and then 6 landed Shadow Balls. Got it.
And then
So that's the new.
and then in comes my Snorlax, and then we time out.
Yeah. How many seconds does that take, the Origin Blissey matchup?
It takes 172 seconds.
So literally 3 minutes on that matchup. Perfect.
You might have a better matchup if you go Zen Headbutt. Let's see here. So Blissey wins. Oh, Zen Headbutt's better. Zen Headbutt is better. It wins in the all shield matchups.
All right, so if you're really worried about that matchup, then run Zen Headbutt on your Blissey.
You are now.
Yeah, why don't we run Zen Headbutt instead of why do people run Pound?
What has the game come to that we're running?
Blissey would have a better dark matchup with Pound. Like you.
But there's dark.
There's no dark. There's no dark.
Yeah, that's the unrealistic part of this conversation.
And Dazzling Gleam. Do it. Oh, and Psychic. Ooh.
And it's Psychic too, yeah. So anyways, it wins, walls it off, so it's pretty decent. Yeah, that's that's a long time. That's a potential stall tactic. I'm waiting for people to like have like clocks. When you're battling, you have clocks, so you know when exactly to switch into Blissey to like stall out the match. It's gonna be a tactic. It's gonna be a thing. Okay, so people are asking about Armored Mewtwo, especially when Armored Mewtwo gets Psystrike.
It's just I don't think it's as good as regular Mewtwo because not in this league anyway. Because the thing about Armored Mewtwo is it's a lot more defense weighted, and it's just I don't think it's as good here. I think the stat product is a lot worse, isn't it? I mean, actually,
yeah, it's I think they did like some like inverse of it. It's not the exact inverse. There's some like weird formulas, but it's decent. Like it's Mewtwo's stat product is 69.76, and then Armor Mewtwo is 64.89. So that's like comparable to Dragonite, but lower attack. So like a bulkier. It's like a bulkier version of Dragonite would be like inverse bulky of Dragonite if you want to think of it that way.
No Side Strike is also a problem. Sorry, no Psycho Cut is also a problem.
Yeah, no second.
Mewtwo's so great with Side Strike is that you always get CMP, so you can just hit
Mm,
everything
yep.
all the time, right?
That's a good point.
I
think also just like you have to give up Rock Slide or Dynamic Punch, which is already pretty good coverage. Just for Side Strike, and I don't know which one is like preferred.
Yeah, especially since confusion damage is so strong psychic damage anyway. There are definitely matchups where you don't want Side Strike, and you'd want Dynamic Punch and Rock Slide, because you're getting psychic damage anyway from confusion.
And you really want psychic damage all that bad in Master.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
Yeah.
regular Mewtwo is so good because Psycho Cut will get to those new charge moves a lot faster, and confusion doesn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't love it.
And it doesn't beat Dialga, even with the Dynamic Punch. Again, suffers from that like not high enough attack.
Yeah.
Where Dynamic Punch only does just under half, and then Resisted Confusions it's just not enough.
No.
The thing is with Dialga resisting Psychic and the Giratina both being super effective against it, it's just not a good type. Mewtwo is good for other reasons other than its typing. I feel like if you're gonna, there's no reason to run a Psychic Pokemon unless it's Mewtwo or Metagross, just because of how bad the typing is in the meta in general. You know, it's super effective against Poison, which is not there, Fighting, which is barely there, and it's resisted by a lot. So.
What about Mew though? Mew's a Psychic type.
I mean, honestly, Mew's good in every meta just because of the moveset.
Okay, yeah, and Mew, I've
I'd
got
like to run on Mew. That's a good question.
Mew. Okay, that's a good question. So
No idea what it's running.
I think
He finally
you want the Focus Blast, right?
Focus Blast.
Probably.
so
In
what
this
is
meta,
let's see if the Focus Blast is enough to. So in this case, the Focus Blast is enough to. Wow, okay, that's crazy actually. Is enough to KO. Mostly because the Shadow Claws do damage as well.
Yeah.
So there's one.
Plus much
What?
more
Dialga?
damage than.
Are we KOing Dialga right now?
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
but the problem is no one has a Mew in Master League. Well, some people do, but like
Finally!
I have a Mew in Master League.
Finally!
Charles only has 2 Mews for Master League, which is annoying.
I have fought them both in one trip. Oh my god, I wonder what happens if you try to log into Mew.
I guarantee you Charles is going to run his 2 Mew set in GBL.
You can't.
You can't run.
Can't
You can't
right.
run
But the game doesn't think we should be able to have 2 Mew, so maybe they never wrote that into the code.
Only one of like 2 or 3 people that have 2 Mews.
there's
Yeah,
also
Oh.
2 Cylinders, right?
So Mew actually
that?
beats Togekiss in the
Oh,
one
wow.
shield. Straight
What's
side
that?
shock.
Oh, gotcha.
That's pretty good. And then it also beats Swampert.
Yeah, Mew's viable. It's not bad. Obviously, it's the same problem against
Yeah. Then it's gonna have problems with Giratina, which is a good point.
Giratina and Dialga are just going to be so dominant. I will say though that it's nice that there's something that can beat both of them. In Ultra League, there's almost nothing that can reliably beat Giratina and Registeel, which is why it makes them so oppressive. But in Master League, there are a couple of options to beat both Giratina and Dialga, so that's nice. Just because they share a common typing. Double Shielded Togekiss, for example, will beat both. And Mamoswine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. When we go into, I have a couple interesting picks. I think an interesting pick is Glaceon. Glaceon with Ice Shard, Icy Wind, and Avalanche. Kind of plays like I guess like Cloyster in Ultra.
Yeah.
Able to beat Swampert, Mewtwo, Altered. Not able to beat. Is that right? Let's see. What are your thoughts on Glaceon? Is it we're trying?
It seems like a really good lead.
I agree. I don't think I'd ever switch it in because it's so easily walled. Like it can't do anything against Kyogre at all. With all ice moves, anything that resists ice is going to give it a hard time. But I think it's a great lead. Just Icy Wind and then get out of there, or Icy Wind, Avalanche. It's just I think it's got a very good potential in the right matchups. It wins the matchups it's supposed to win, probably by a lot, and then just loses the bad matchups by a lot. But I think it definitely has play.
I feel like it's a really good pair with Giratina Origin, because it's able to beat things like Metagross, Kyogre, things like that. Like Origin can beat those, so pairing that with Glaceon would be kind of nice. And it's also able to beat like the fighters as well.
Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I definitely think it has play. I think it'll be similar to Articuno. A little bit less coverage because Articuno has that nice rock damage, but similar typical play to Articuno.
Yeah, I actually think that Articuno is better in Ultra than it is in Masters, but I think it definitely has some lead play and forcing people to switch or winning a lot of lead matches just by oppressing down their opponents. But we'll see how it plays out in Masters. Okay, let's see here. Not a lot of... Okay, this other one. What do you guys think of Groudon?
I like it.
Definitely better now that Mudslap's better. It has a lot more play.
It's much shot.
Wait, we had Mudslap. We had Mudshot.
It
doesn't do Mudslap, right? No,
much shot.
Then it's not that great. It's so predictable if it doesn't have...
Come on. Mudshot's better than Mudslap, Kim.
Okay. For me, every time I've ever tried to play Groudon, it's gonna force shields, but it needs either a faster charge move. It needs some sort of bait option because it's very predictable.
Niantic needs to give it the Kyogre treatment when they specifically we gave Kyogre Surf, so it's cheaper.
Yeah.
What would you give Groudon?
Precipice Blades. Sorry.
Oh. Give it Precipice Blades. It's needed that for ever.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing is, I like Groudon so much because it's bulky. So the fact that it takes a while to get to its charge moves isn't that maybe a bigger problem, and Mudshot is such a good fast move that it can actually get to them. It's got a pretty solid Dialga win, doesn't it? And there's so little hard resist Earthquake that it's just honestly I think it's probably a pretty good swap in, especially if you give it Solar Beam for the water coverage. You give it a 3 Mudshot lead, you're gonna double Earthquake anything that comes in.
Okay, I think it's some pretty interesting options you can give it. So I think an upgrade would be Earth Power, because it's such high attack stat. A lot of times the Earthquake is an overkill. Earth Power option a little bit cheaper, 10.
I would love to have Earth Power. Yeah.
Only a little bit, only 10 energy less.
10 energy, but could add a lot. Dragon Claw.
Dragon Claw would be
bad. That would be.
Give it Dragon Claw. Would be
Projectile.
Yesterday, David was saying it should get Rock Slide, which I think
Rock
really.
Slide. Yeah, I was thinking Rock Slide too. Rock Slide would be so good.
Can it learn Thunderbolt?
It can learn Thunderbolt.
There you go. Thunderbolt for
Brick Break. I think there's a aerial ace, lots of potential bait options. Give it Shadow Claw.
Give it something that can take out. Give it Psychic. Something Psychic. Take out fighting. Yeah.
Give it Psychic.
Does it?
Huh?
I don't think Groudon struggles against fighting, does it?
It doesn't do that well, does it?
I'd imagine it'll beat
Let's
Machamp.
Okay, let's take a look.
Take a look.
It's
I
just
don't know.
it's super bulky.
I feel like Rock Slide gives it the best coverage.
Yeah, I agree.
So it loses to Machamp in the 2 shield, but beats it in the 0 and the 1 pretty easily.
Yeah.
Rock Slide. Okay, yeah, I could see that. Give it a punch. Fire Punch.
Fire Punch makes a lot of sense because Primal Groudon is Fire type.
I like
Fire
Fire
Punch.
Punch.
Iron Head. I think there's like a lot of options. Like I think just giving it something cheaper than Earthquake would be a huge buff for it.
I think
you
maybe.
can,
Go ahead.
you can give it Overheat, like just for fun.
Yeah.
Overheat instead of Fire Blast. Yeah. I think there's lots of options. Like even if it doesn't want to give it Rock Slide, give it Stone Edge. Not as good, but
It would be like a Quagsire. That would be really nice.
yeah. It'd be yeah, I think there's a lot that hopefully.
Definitely struggles because of the second charge move. Mudshot Earthquake on a bulky Pokemon is so good. It just needs a second coverage move that's not Solar Beam and Fire Blast. They're both so hard to get to. But no, I think the reason I like Groudon so much more than like Garchomp is the extra bulk means that you're going to be getting to 2 Earthquakes in almost every matchup. I was running it's very little, and being able to get to 2 Earthquakes, how good Earthquake is just really.
Pressure. A ton
What's
of
up?
pressure. I said it's a ton of shield pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You'll almost always burn a shield. Even in losing matchups, you'll almost always burn a shield. And to be able to burn a shield and then also still land a nuke is just it's very good. I definitely think it'll have play. I might not run it just because the inflexibility of 65 energy being the lowest energy move is going to be a little bit tough, but it's got a lot of potential.
It's similar to Registeel, to be honest.
Yeah.
Registeel is also 65 energy, but it doesn't have Lock On, which Lock On is just so much better at energy generation than even Mudshot. So it's really hard to.
Mudshot is the second best energy generating move in the game, but you're right, it's not as good as Lock On.
It's 10% difference, right? So
It's
4.5 and 5.
5% difference, isn't it?
Well, like 10% of
Yeah.
a little bit more than 10% faster,
Yeah.
which makes it a pretty big difference. And
Yeah.
Registeel is also like one of the bulkiest Pokemon in Ultra versus Groudon, just a bulky Pokemon in
Right.
Masters. So
Right.
and it's better typing. Like, I don't know, arguably, yeah.
I think Ground type is pretty good as a defensive type. There's not a ton of grass, so it's really just water and ice that you're worrying about.
Yeah.
Honestly, what's bulkier than Groudon in Master? There's not a lot.
Yeah, like a Lugia would be an example, right?
What would be?
Snorlax probably has more bulk. Kyogre ties with it. Yeah, you're right. Like not a ton is more.
Groudon
bulk.
actually has a lot better of a stat product than Snorlax. I mean, a lot of that is the attack, but yeah, 7,500 stat product is really good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm just looking at the defensive stats. So.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. The stat product is helped by the attack stat, but it's still fairly bulky.
It has a great stat product. Yeah, just like you give it anything decent, like Kyogre got Serve, then it immediately shoots up. So I think hopefully, and plus I think Niantic is very open to making legendaries better in Masters. Like I think they ideally that's like what they want. Like that's their money maker, right? Is for people to go out and do a lot of raids and raid this. So I think it would be really helpful.
I think Groudon would be a good pair with Togekiss because it'll wreck all the Anti-Fairies. Like Melmetal does not want to face a Groudon. So I think that's a fun pair to run.
Just leave yourself vulnerable to Glaceon, but
yeah. I'm gonna do a Glaceon. I'm gonna definitely try it out.
Yeah.
I think it'll be pretty decent.
Yep.
Okay, and then what do you think of this? Like this last part of the video, unless there's any other comments or questions. Examples of teams of 3.
Yeah, I like that first line with the Togekiss double.
I think that's
double
the classic meta line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Togekiss, Dialga, Origin. I did like a video on it, and like all of them are so good as like just, you could switch it. You could literally have them. All three of them are good leads. All three of them are good switches.
Yeah.
And maybe not Togekiss as a close, but Togekiss close with a shield is good. But the other two are great closers too. These are all like three amazing Pokemon.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're not really weak to a lot of, like, I guess if Togekiss comes in or like Snorlax comes in against the wrong things, like, yeah, okay, I can see like some problems, but other than that, it's just like there's not a ton of weaknesses there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like if depending on what you lead, because I think I did a video on it. I led Giratina Origin, and then someone switched in a Togekiss on me, and I was like, oh, what do I do, right? Like, I think I just switched into. Yeah. Anyways, there's some like difficult ones when someone mirror switches in, makes it a little bit more difficult. Yeah, like if Togekiss had like a favorable matchup against whatever Pokemon, and they switched in Dialga, then it's like kind of an awkward. Basically mirroring any of these, so it's kind of awkward.
Yeah,
because they have really great coverage against the rest of the meta, but like kind of like not great coverage against each other. Especially with energy advantage. Okay. What do we think of the second team?
The Kyogre one.
So the Kyogre one, sure. Kyogre. Basically covering against Swampert.
Someone might have trouble with Togekiss.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's why I was looking at the other team with Melmetal. I think it was like the same team. Melmetal and Two Dragons. Yeah, the Kyogre. Yeah, that one definitely looks like it would have a few issues with Togekiss.
Right.
It's like you could kill the whatever with the Kyogre and then be left with it in the back. Yeah, I'm worried about that.
I know we were talking earlier about how fighting isn't very good in this meta, but I do think if you were going to use it, it's a great pair with Giratina, seeing as it counters all the things that Wall or Origin, all the things that Wall Shadow Ball are hurt by fighting, being dark and normal types. So like a Machamp Origin core might be fun to play with.
Yeah, I think the second team again makes it awkward. Like if you lead Dialga into Kyogre, it's like, what do you do? Do you stay in and just do as much damage, or do you switch in and have the energy disadvantage?
Only problem is if you switch in a Dialga into another Dialga lead and they switch out, you're screwed in the back.
Yeah, for sure. So like, this team would
You have to stay in, I think.
almost certainly lose. You almost have to stay in and just sacrifice, and then hopefully farm down with your own Dialga afterwards and have the energy advantage. Is probably the play.
Yeah.
Would you run Thunder or Blizzard on Kyogre?
So Blizzard would take forever to get to.
I'm gonna say Thunder. You're gonna
Thunder. The thing is, what does Thunder give you?
Yeah, exactly.
The mirror.
But like,
Blizzard is so good against, like, in a shields down situation, it'll one hit the dragons. Like Giratina's, I think it probably almost one hits Dialga too. It's such a good coverage move for Kyogre, especially in a dragon meta. I feel like Blizzard is key. But you'll never get to it. But if shields are down or you have an energy lead from farming something, it's a nice nuke option. Whereas Thunder doesn't really give you a whole lot.
I guess it depends on what else we see. I feel like you can get the other Kyogre, but yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's a situation where 95% of the time you're going to just Waterfall and Surf, and so neither one is going to be used very often. But I think the potential for Blizzard is a lot higher. A lot more matchups.
Yeah, and I agree with that. The Thunder, I think, like just only for the mirror, right? Like I don't see too much.
I guess, but again, you can beat that with Waterfall and Surf, I think.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. How about this third team? Swampert, Togekiss, Dialga. I could definitely see that a lot of people running that team on day one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It has arguably the two best non-legendaries, or the two easiest to get non-legendaries. I think Swampert and Togekiss are going to have a lot of play just because not everyone's going to have a Dialga ready already. So until people like get their Girautinas and their Dialgas ready, I think Swampert and Togekiss are going to be a really good pair together. Especially seeing as Swampert is so good against the Steel Pokemon that Togekiss has problems with. I think it's going to be a core we see constantly. I think it's a very good one.
Yeah, I like the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think Swampert's super flexible. Um, even in bad matchups, and especially since there's not very much grass, we'll be able to do a lot of damage. Even if you go up against a Origin form, like you're still gonna be able to land these earthquakes and do decent amount of damage, and then come in with Tokias later or potentially grab a shield. So, okay, what do we think of Melmetal, Giratina Altered, and Dragonite?
I kind of like that one. That one looks fun to me. I'm starting to like Melmetal a lot more, and I'm assuming you would leave Melmetal, have those guys in the back. I kind of liked the Tina as a swap here.
Dialga would give that team a mess, especially if you don't catch it with the Melmetal. You'll have a big Dialga problem. But that's true for any double dragon team, to be honest.
I'm gonna like bait it out with the Tina, do a lot of damage, come back in with the Melmetal.
Melmetal is not a hard win against. It's not like you can farm it up though. It's not a hard win. Dragon Breath still chunks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Melmetal is really great, and I do think like I love the idea of Tina Altered as a switch in, like just so much flexibility, even against bad matchups is something to be to look out for. Double Dragons like.
Double Dragon and neither of them is Dialga, I think.
Right.
They're going to do Double Dragon, make them Dialga.
I think like replacing Dragonite with Dialga would make it, but then you're kind of weak to Swampert, so like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's
Yeah.
a tough deal.
If you led Giratina with double steel in the back, like Altered, Melmetal, and then Dialga, you'd be slightly better against Swampert, and a really good team.
Did you say lead Dragonite for that?
No. I was saying, like Alex said, if you replace Dragonite with Dialga. So if you replace Dragonite with Dialga and then led Altered, you'd run Altered, Melmetal, and Dialga.
Oh yeah, lead. Yeah, you'd have to lead the Tina. That would work.
Swampert, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna switch out if it's anything but Swampert almost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, these are very interesting teams. Okay, this 15 no legendaries, 2 pseudos, and the new Rhyperior.
Rhyperior. I like it. Let's see.
Also has a Swampert problem.
It's got. That's why Dragonite leads. That's why Dragonite leads. It's relatively covered.
It has an even worse Kyogre problem, especially with.
It has an origin problem, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyogre would be an issue.
I feel like a Togekiss Kyogre core would wreck that team.
So someone's asking about Gyarados, but Gyarados is not bad against this team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially if they run Earthquake on Metagross, which is very likely. I guess obviously has to worry about Rock Wrecker on Rhyperior.
And Smackdown if you're running that.
Yeah.
I find it hard that if you run Rhyperior that you can't run Mudslap.
No, I agree, but
it's something you're concerned about. Yeah,
you will see it. Some people will be running Smackdown, but I agree. Yeah, you want to run Mudslap.
Yeah. I guess Mewtwo with Shadow Ball Ice Beam.
Yeah.
Mewtwo. Mewtwo has so many good moves. You're basically just gambling when it fires off a charge move, whether it's shield or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And it'll be able to get off so many of them because Psycho Pet.
Yeah, so
Rock Wrecker will at least destroy Mewtwo in that trio a little bit.
Yeah, how's that matchup? Rhyperior versus Mewtwo.
Kim's just really trying to make Rhyperior a thing.
Rhyperior is awesome.
They don't. Yeah.
Smart Slash is just not a good move. They made it better, but it's still not a good move.
Record is an amazing move, and Mudslap is a decent move.
It's decent. It's not great.
It's barely even decent. It's a pretty significant downgrade from even other moves that are only decent. Like it's a worse Waterfall. It's a worse Smackdown. It's a worse. I think the closest comparison is Rock Throw, but I think it's still worse than Rock Throw. Yeah, it's still worse than Rock Throw. Okay.
Really?
It's much better than it was before, and it does the high damage is nice, especially from a ground fast move. But it's okay.
It's a close matchup with Rhyperior and Mewtwo.
I'm definitely sitting right now.
Yeah, you need only Rock Wrecker in the close, otherwise you just Surf.
Yeah.
Surf being a pretty good move. Okay, yeah. What do we think of this last team?
I really like that last one. Maybe just because there's Mewtwo and Giratina there.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty clear like how you handle any lead with that one. I don't know.
I feel like Tyranitar or Darkrai would really mess up that team.
Tyranitar would eat that team, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Badly.
I'd probably switch Snorlax for something else. Maybe Togekiss.
You could put a fighter there, and then you could have the Ghost Psychic Fighting Cord.
Yeah. That'd be nice. Or even like Swampert would be fun in that last spot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that beat Swampert are lose to Origin, so I think it'd be a fun quarter run, and you'd still beat like most of the fighters with Swampert. Or not fighters. You still beat Tyranitar with Swampert. Which is nice.
Yeah, no, I like that last team. Yeah, switching out Snorlax is a consideration. I'm not sure what the Snorlax actually gives you for coverage. I guess Dialga, but yeah, Swampert or a fighter would make more sense. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Any other questions from the chat? Any final thoughts?
Just to go back on a point we were talking about earlier, Blizzard flips the Giratina matchup in the 0 shield for Kyogre, which is really nice. I ran it. Kyogre wins the 0 shield against Giratina with Blizzard, so it's nice to have. It pretty much always it'll force shield pressure in situations where you wouldn't shield otherwise, like you wouldn't shield the dragon against the Surf. But Blizzard does give you that shield pressure, and it flips a lot of the 0 shield matchups because Kyogre is so bulky it gets to it, and it'll one hit all the dragons almost with Blizzard.
Yeah, you're talking about the altered version, right? Yeah,
Yes,
Origin it just barely misses it, but still does quite a bit of damage. Give it ice. Give it ice beam. That make it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think I'm gonna run Blizzard. I think you guys have convinced me. That it's a move that makes the most sense.
I mean, water and ice coverage, like you see with Azumarill, it's just like so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. That ice coverage is it's really nice. Gives it quite a bit. Which Pokemon to buddy up for Masters? I think Dialga is the clearest answer. And then I know Peggy, you made a case for Origin. Hit that Shadow Claw breakpoint, which is good. And then oh man, Icy Wind on Kyogre. I think does it get Icy Wind? I think I made
that would break it.
There's no charm. There's no charm breakpoint, is it? There's I know there are.
Imagine there probably is a breakpoint somewhere.
At 41, I mean.
Yeah.
That would be massive if it changed anything.
And then someone's asking, Focus Blast or Ice Beam on Mewtwo?
Depends on the first charge move. If you are running Side Strike, I think you probably want Ice Beam. If you're running Shadow Ball, I think you want Focus Blast.
Or Flamethrower. Yeah, I wouldn't say Flamethrower. Flamethrower not. Gets you cheaper for steel types like Melmetal, if you're worried about that.
Right. But it's only with Psycho Cut, it doesn't take that long to get to Focus Blast, and it's just so much better of a move.
Mhm.
Oh, man. In the main series, Kyogre does get Icy Wind.
There you go. Man. Man, can you imagine if they actually did Icy Wind? Holy.
Oh god.
Oh, man.
7 damage to Dialga. So Kyogre can take out over half of Dialga's HP if it hits Blizzard. So that's something. It won't, but it'll do something.
You know, we really fun. I know King. We talked about this like 2 years ago when Kyogre first came out, and it originally came out with Dragon Tail before they got rid of it. That would be really nice coverage for the dragons in this meta. Dragon Tail Kyogre.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, I don't think it's in its move pool anymore.
No, that's why they got rid of it. Because it doesn't run it in the main series. I don't know why they ever gave it to it in the first place. But when they in the game code, they originally gave it Dragon Tail, which is awesome.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. Oh my gosh, that would have been.
Yeah.
It would also charge up energy faster, so that would be.
Yep.
Oh, it would straight up beat up Giratina Altered in all shields. Wow, okay.
Dude, that's
Wow.
disgusting.
That's
and
crazy.
as well beat Origin in the 0 in the 1. Oh my gosh, that'd be
Wow.
so good.
I remember back in the day, it was the OG Rayquaza killer in raids with Dragon Tail. When like Pokebattler, when it was just dropped in the code, it was a fantastic Rayquaza.
Yeah, it was like the best.
Yeah,
it was.
we never got to use it, but it always seemed really well.
Yeah, obviously before Mamoswine came.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Raikou Raikou any play?
Yeah.
Just play. It's like a really squishy, nice swap that will possibly force 1 or 2
Good
shields.
swap or a good closer.
Yes.
With those moves.
Yeah, could have some play. Any of these Pokemon with high stats and decent moves, or good moves in this case, are going to be have some play.
Yep.
You just have to make sure you build the right team around it.
Yep, agree.
Okay. Okay. Any final thoughts you want to share before we end the stream?
I think we're gonna see a lot of. I think just get used to seeing a lot of Dialga, Giratina, Swampert, and Togekiss. I think that'll be most of the meta we see early on, and beating those 4 Pokemon is gonna be how you succeed. You'll see variations, obviously, but I feel like they're gonna be so dominant that just make sure you have like 2
Be
answers,
able to.
and then you'll be good.
Yeah. I think those 4, and then I think we'll slowly see some Snorlax come in, some Melmetal, but I don't think.
Origin, but yeah.
I think for some beam potential, you want Porygon Z.
Ooh, yep. I have Porygon will be interesting with lock on, right?
Yeah.
Man, I saw somebody play with that yesterday. It was good. Was it not a spoofer? He said I would quit too if I got beat by a 4. It was so good. It was a good video.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah. Well, man, the return actually does so much. Return does 149 damage to Swampert out of 189.
Wow.
You don't need Solar Beam to beat Swampert.
Oh man.
Wow.
Get returned back to your Pokeball.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta go back to start. Don't collect anything if you get returned.
And then obviously you you beat Giratina in all shields. Origin.
What?
Oh, you can say that.
Yeah, because you have
Normal then.
Just because of the normal typing, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you lose
You can
Altered,
get
so.
Blizzard. You get Blizzard, right? With Porygon
Yeah,
Z?
yeah. I took away Solar Beam, so it might the new hashtag might be like get Blizzard or
Get Zard.
get Zard or whatever it is. Okay. Anyway, so thank you everyone for tuning in the stream and participating, and best of luck in your Master League battles.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it wasn't.